When did it become winter? Good Lord, it is a mess in here. Ugh. No. Ooh, what was this again? Some 3D Gloop. Let's bust this open and try it out.
What's going on, you guys? I'm with Jesse here. It feels much better in here now that it's clean, or I should say slightly clean. If you own more than one 3D printer, it's near impossible to keep your space that you print in clean. It just gets so messy, so quick. But I want to talk with you guys today about a little product called 3D Gloop. This stuff, I first heard about this, I think, earlier in the year from Kickstarter. I think a bunch of people had gone on that with Kickstarter. Actually ran into these guys at the East Coast Rep Fest and saw a little demonstration of this, and I thought it was pretty dang cool. I ended up ordering a bottle for myself just recently, and I have a big, huge project here that I need to glue together. And one of the primary purposes of 3D Gloop is to actually chemically bond different PLA or ABS parts together. This is their PLA version of their concoction here. They do have an ABS version. I believe they might be working on a PETG version as well, and I just recently saw on their Twitter page that they're coming out with a sprayable version, which is pretty dang cool. This is a brush-on model here, so very interesting. I've not used this before. I'm excited to use it because normally I just use super glue for my projects, and while that works decent, there is always a concern that if I drop the prop that I'm building, it's going to just break apart at the seam where I use the super glue. So typically when I use super glue, I'm also using things like XTC 3D or wood filler or something else to provide a little bit more support on the joints for where I'm joining the parts together. But what's really interesting about 3D Gloop is that it actually fuses the parts together. And while I was at the East Coast Rep Fest, they had this two-piece dog bone that they were trying to pull apart and break, and it was not possible, which was pretty dang impressive. So excited to try this out. And I have cables BFG from Deadpool 2. This is a crazy file that took a whole lot of time to print. I got this off of Pin Shape from Chad Michaud, I think is his name. I'll have a link down below if you're interested in picking that up. It was 13 bucks for the file. The file is really great, comes in multiple parts or one piece. I ended up taking the one piece file and splitting it up and printing it in multiple parts on the Raise3D N2 Plus in the Uncle Jesse metallic gray PLA. So very excited to get this actually assembled and start working on it and finishing it for you guys. But the first part here is really just getting it put together. So let's test out 3D Gloop. So I went on 3D Gloop's webpage just to see if they had any instructions on how to properly use this. Some things that they recommend that you use is some sandpaper to sand the joint areas that you're going to be sealing together. I typically do that anyways, whether it's super glue or this or any other materials. They also recommended you get some clamps for clamping the parts together so that they can remain closely sealed. I'll see if I can do that. I'm going to hopefully be able to hand glue these and then let them go and just sort of air dry. And then they also recommend some rubber gloves because you don't want to get this stuff on your skin. I should also mention that this stuff, fume-wise, is a little strong, and it reminds me a bit of rubber cement. So you'll just want to make sure that you have a window open or you're in a well-ventilated area so that you don't get lightheaded or anything like that. So let's get this going. So again, the first thing I'm going to do is I've got my parts here. There is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different pieces here that I'm going to need to assemble using the 3D Gloop. And I figure I might as well start with the biggest and baddest pieces here. So this thing is going to be really big, by the way. Cool, so I'm just going to make sure to drop the part here before I actually get it assembled. So here's a flat edge and then another flat edge there. I've got some 100 grit, or maybe this is 120 grit. I can't quite remember. Sandpaper. I also have a sanding block. If you don't have one of these, they're super inexpensive and really helpful for sanding flat pieces like this. I think it's like $3 at Walmart maybe. So just gonna sand this out a little bit, not too much. Just trying to rough it up a little bit. By the way, this file, I printed this and it took, I don't know, probably about a better part of a week to print. Tons and tons and tons of support. I think I spent at least an hour and change removing supports from all these nooks and crannies. And I have a feeling I probably missed some as well. All right, so I've got my gloves on, and then I've got my two pieces that I want to initially join together. So again, I've got make sure I've got these ends sanded, and I'm gonna take the 3D Gloop here and get a little bit on the end and brush it on. Man, it's already starting to firm up there pretty quickly. I'm honestly amazed at how fast that was starting to set. So part of my print is starting to split. So this stuff here is also supposed to be able to help coat some of your prints. So I'm just putting some over where that seam was appearing, and we'll see how well that ends up holding up in the long run here once I get this put together. All right, I've got the two largest parts joined together. I let this sit for about 20 minutes, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, and it feels really, really sturdy. This stuff starts to set really fast, so I did not have to wait too long for it to dry, or at least for me to be able to not hold it and walk away. The shape of this part here, it's a little difficult for me to use the clamp, so I just kind of held it together with my hands, as you guys saw in the clip there. And then what I ended up doing as well is I went back over the seams here with just a little bit more. Like I said, there was starting to get a little bit of splitting on the print here, and I think it had nothing to do with the gloop, but it was all about the print. So I just went over the outside of it with a little bit of gloop. You can also use this product to coat, similar to XTC 3D, to help smooth out your prints and reduce some of the layer lines. Also probably just to strengthen it up a bit. This would be a really cool product to test out and use for the inside of a helmet, or potentially even the outside of the helmet, just to really strengthen up some of those parts. I'm going to now do a little time lapse here of me assembling the rest of the bits here. Alright, here it is. This is the BFG, and it really is a BFG from Deadpool 2. This was Cable's gun that we saw in the movie. Again, this file, I'll have links down below where you can pick it up. Really impressive file. It is a little bit thin, like the gun itself just feels like it's a little bit thinner than what it should be. But overall, it's just really friggin' awesome. But the main thing here that I want to talk with you guys about is 3D Gloop. I'm pretty dang impressed with this. It already feels pretty sturdy. It's been, I think, 2 hours since I did the actual gluing here of the joints. And I went back over a few of them to go over the actual seams, just because I saw there were some sections that I might have just missed. And yeah, it feels really solid, a lot more solid than when I've ever used just simply super glue. Typically, if I have super glue and I've super glued parts together, if I drop them and they're not properly sealed in any other manner, that seam will split back open and the parts will fall off there. So I'm very excited about this. I will definitely be using more 3D Gloop. And I wanted to mention that 3D Gloop, you can pick this up over on their website, 3dgloop.com. The smaller bottles, I believe it's a 12-ounce bottle, is $20. This is a 4-ounce bottle. This ran $30. And if you use the code Uncle Jessy, you'll get 10% off your order. They also, this is the PLA version since I primarily print in PLA. They also have ABS options available. This is also a free trial
option here, which it gives you a little tiny jar. I might have been able to actually use this free trial version for the entire project that I used here for this prop, which is pretty cool. I believe it's only $1, and that covers just the actual shipping of this out to you, which is pretty friggin' cool. I also want to mention that you can, if for whatever reason you're ordering a bunch of stuff from Matterhackers, matterhackers.com also carries 3D Gloop as well. I'll have an affiliate link down below that'll help out the channel. If you order stuff from Matterhackers, feel free to use that link and pick up some 3D Gloop for yourself there. Just to give you guys an idea of the scale of this prop, it's basically the whole length of one of my shelves here. It's pretty friggin' impressive. Yeah, also, I'm pretty confident in holding the gun by its grip here off of the side that I use the Gloop on, and that it's not going to actually break off as well. So again, I just want to say thanks again for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Again, if you're interested in the file itself for this Deadpool 2 Cables BFG gun by Chad Michaud, I think is how you pronounce his last name. I'm sure I'm butchering that. I butcher everybody's last name or online screen name. That's just what I do. But it's over there on Pinshape. It's 13 bucks. This was a pretty friggin' awesome file. And again, it comes in multiple parts or one solid piece. I ended up splitting it up into multiple pieces so I can print it out on the Raise3D with lots and lots and lots of supports. And again, if you're interested in 3D Gloop, we'll have some links down below for that. I just want to say thanks again for watching, you guys. Subscribe. Give me some comments down below. Let me know what you're excited about for the upcoming holiday season. If you're picking up anything wild and crazy, I'm looking for more camera and light gear and maybe like one of those beauty rings that the makeup girls use in their YouTube videos. By the way, pro tip, if you're interested in doing videos, check out what all those girls are doing on their makeup videos. They usually post like, hey, this is the gear I'm using. That's what I look for because I'm always interested in how do I make myself look the most fantastic possible. All right, thanks again for watching, you guys. I'll see you next time. All right, so I've got the gun glued. Let's do something really stupid, like drop it. All right, this isn't going to be the craziest of tests since this is on carpet, but yeah, let's see how this goes. Well, the good news is, all right, so the good news is it didn't break where the seam was. The seam was originally right here. It broke where there was non-3D Gloop. So the seams, all of the other seams held up just fine. Just this section right here will need to be re-glued. What's going to be really cool is I think I can actually end up coating this entire thing in 3D Gloop, and it will be super, super solid. So, yeah, I would say that's actually a pretty successful test. None of the joints where I glued broke, which is what I was hoping for.